Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerdlings of all ages, I am Jorisar and I'm here to bring you some EGL4 Finals action. Of course, a lot of these games have already been cast by myself onto YouTube, but these are going to be the Grand Finals. For those of you watching live, I am indeed casting these on my stream live, and they'll be popped onto YouTube from here later. But without further ado, let's explain who these players are and how they got here. Over here in the right-hand side of the map, which is going to be MLG Antigua Shipyard, it is none other than Lowland Lions. Oh, really? And he is going to be starting 2-0 up, because he has already faced, as some of you may know, the Orange Protoss, starting in the left spawn location. For those of you who watched their first two games, it is going to be none other than our Protoss hero, Dignitas.BlinG. Now, both these players have had tremendous routes through the tournament. BlinG, of course, being knocked down by O'Reilly into the lower bracket finals 2-0, where he managed to completely power through everyone else in the group, culminating in a huge lower bracket final against 4K's Dream, who later became Dignitas Dream after this EGL4 tournament. And they agreed in their third set that whoever wins has to take out the Zerg, but both of them are 2-0 down going into the Grand Final. So this is technically game 1 of the Grand Finals, but game 3 of the series, because it's going to be an extended series best of 7. First player to 4 victories does win. So we see both players playing quite standard at the moment, and by standard I mean, here we go, pool shenanigans coming out from O'Reilly. Of course, BlinG immediately scouts this and knows exactly what's going on, so he's potentially not going to be too phased by this early pool play. But it's possible O'Reilly's either going for a super early aggression, or he just wants to get some map control early on so that he can secure an expansion, which is something we actually saw a lot, which is something we saw a lot in his series against Dream. He would often go for an early pool and then only make 4 or 6 lings, and then wait and see before expanding. But we have got a full 6 lings coming out, and now we see he's starting to drone up with the ones behind this. So it's possible that these 6 lings are here to apply a little bit of pressure, maybe make BlinG think that some sort of early pressure is coming on. This probe wanting to tag along with these Zerglings. Automaton 2000 also getting in on the action, but he's just going to be droning up now, and I can only presume he's going to be taking that hatch, and there we go. So similar opening to what we saw him play against Dream. Meanwhile, BlinG walling off quite effectively at this low ground. Will it be in time for these lings to get here, though? He needs to wall off with at least one more building, and there we go. So the pylon going down is going to be able to deter these lings from coming in. Will he actually get the probe kill? No, he will not. BlinG doing a good job of holding that off there, even cancelling some buildings, and it looks like the one cannon is going to be enough to deter the rest of these Zerglings from popping in. Both these players going to kind of chillax now, and we're actually going to head into a macro game. So don't be fooled by these early pool stuff coming out of O'Reilly. He has done that against Protosses many a time, and it does not phase him one little bit. So we have got BlinG taking his expansion as well as both gases in his main base. Still, of course, probing up, and now we have droning up like a madman from O'Reilly. We take a quick look at the worker count. It is 14 drones to 19 probes. So BlinG does have the early worker lead. The advantage, of course, that O'Reilly has is that these lings are going to be able to exert a large amount of map control. I like that these lings are being put to work, even if it's going to take them a year and a half to destroy these destructible rocks. He's got map control early on. He should be able to... Oh no, he leaves the probe alone. He must not have noticed this. This must have been on hold position, followed the probe for a bit, and then decided to head back. And it looks like BlinG's going to be able to sneak in a forward pylon somewhere, maybe even a ninja expansion. We're going to have to wait and see what he is up to. His cybernetics core is about to complete, though, and it looks like, no, he's just going to be scouting a bit. A lot of players... Maybe if he doesn't notice his opponents here, he's just going to plop a forward pylon on the edge here, so you can warp in on the low ground. That's probably exactly what he's going to do. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pylon here or here. So we will wait and see what his plans are. Meanwhile, O'Reilly deciding that with this early map control with these Zerglings, a nice feature of this kind of opening is that he is able to take a nice early third base, because BlinG, frankly, doesn't know what's going on at the moment and has no choice but to turtle up. He saw that early pool, and he knows he needs to be just a little bit careful. So O'Reilly going straight for the third base. I really like this play coming out of Zerg. Nothing much to say, really. A couple more gateways popping down for BlinG here. And we've now got both gases finally being taken in the main base, so deciding that now is a good time to get gas. For those of you who remember, the champion of this kind of play much earlier on in the metagame was, of course, Spanishiwa. trying to work out how many pop he can get out, how much food he can get out, before he actually takes those gases as Zerg, and he did a lot of experimenting with that to great metagame effect. So we do have an awful lot more gateways coming down. We have 3 in the main, and 3 more in the natural. So we are going up to 6 gates from BlinG. We might potentially see some pressure coming down from him shortly. We do also have the forward pylon at this very, very nice high ground here, going to be able to warp in units at the bottom of this cliff. Probably not so useful over there. So once these gateways do complete, we might see a little bit of pressure coming out of him, and if O'Reilly isn't careful, his early third could mean that he might be in a little bit of trouble. We've got 4 sentries morphing in now. Morphing in, warping in, and we'll wait and see what BlinG has in store. Another probe going to be joining the fray to plant another forward pylon down. I like that. He's going to be able to warp in on this high ground, or reinforcements after he breaks these rocks. We're going to have to wait and see. Does he see this third base, though? Let's take a quick look. He does not, as it currently stands. And it looks like this tickle gun is going to be able to kill that Overlord. Now the question is, how many gateways has he seen? The answer is only 3. He can assume there are some more in the main, but he doesn't know if there are more gateways here, or whether there's Robo and he's teching up, or if he's getting a fast blink or anything like that. Or really all of a sudden playing in the dark despite his early map control, and that's because even though his Ling's in the middle of the map, this probe was able to get an early pylon in, and he didn't notice, and here we go, action starting at the third. That Queen getting completely trapped by these force fields, and all of a sudden things are not looking good for our Zerg player. Dear, oh dear, still a reasonable amount of energy left on these sentries, and extra war pins coming in. And wow, another pylon also being produced here, so he's really going to cement his claim on this third base. That is going to have to be sacked from O'Reilly, no questions about it. Trying to root spine crawlers, and we have a couple of roaches up here as well. We'll wait and see if BlinG decides he wants to go up, and he does. The numbers of zealots he has are absolutely mind-boggling. Very nice force fields, forcing the roaches to be static, and if roaches cannot kite against zealots, they typically do very well. I think O'Reilly knows this, bringing out drones into the attack now as well. And it looks like this could be a very, very difficult position for our Zerg player. He is by no means lost yet. He is constantly producing more and more Lings. He's also got a few more drones popping out as well. They're going to be joining the fray. And it looks like the Zealots finally do get cleaned up. So we're really going to have to force the rest of this army back. BlinG having no choice but to fall back ever so slightly for now. And we take a look at what is happening back at base. The answer is not a lot. He's going to be continuing with this 6-gate pressure indefinitely off 2 bases. Of course, he is able to continuously pressure with 6-gate, as opposed to something like a 7-gate with a Robo or going for a quick blink, where he might find it difficult on the cash front. So it shouldn't be too difficult for him. But we're going to have to wait and see whether O'Reilly can hold this off. Now this follow-up push is looking pretty scary. Not as many zealots as before. There are only 2 in the front and 2 behind this army, which really have to get around to the front to see if he can engage those roaches. Some nice force fields trapping a few drones, but that's useless unless he kills them off. And there we go. A few more are going to go down. Some Lings being rather expendable there, and more drones being lost here from O'Reilly as he's forced to pull them to the front lines. If we take a look at the workout now, it's 39 probes to 25 drones. And yeah, things are looking economically dire in the long run now for O'Reilly, and BlinG now doing the incredibly smart thing and just calmly falling back with his units. So we just reached the 11-minute mark. The third base for O'Reilly has been taken down. This 6-gate pressure from BlinG has been super effective. These forward pylons are going to get picked off, except for the one on top here, which should live unless the Overlord is able to scout it. Unfortunately, I don't think he has so far. So BlinG's going to be able to preserve a forward pylon unless we get some really nice Ling scouting at some point soon. And I would say advantage Protoss, very, very well played, coming out from that turtled position to try and take advantage of any sort of potential greed that O'Reilly had with his build. And he correctly assessed that he did. So all is very well. O'Reilly going to attempt to take a ninja third now to get back into this game. He's going to have to do something like this. Of course, because he's taken the Xel'Naga Tower for such a long period of the game, he knows that BlinG isn't going to be able to see this. And that might actually bring him back into it. We're going to have to wait and see. He's got 3 base, potentially 3 base Zerg against 2 base Protoss at the moment. Typically quite an even fight. And usually the side with the greater number of workers to start off with tends to have an advantage. Because of that early pressure, BlinG does have more workers than O'Reilly. So going into the middle of the map now, it looks like the Twilight Council and the +1 are coming down for BlinG as well. In fact, BlinG has +1 almost about to finish. He's just sticking another couple of warpins up at that top gate, and I wonder if he's going to... Oh no, a Ling run by does manage to force all the probes off, but he's managing to run them out of the base very, very effectively indeed. A couple more Zealot walk-ins at the main should just about be able to fend these Lings off, but I wonder how many are going to get killed. Meanwhile, BlinG has decided it's time to go for a counterattack. We take a quick look at the workers killed. BlinG has killed 17 to O'Reilly's 4, so this Ling run by hasn't been quite as effective as he might think. Still warping in Zealots to try and kill these Zerglings, and all of a sudden there are only 4 left, and that should just about be enough. I mean, BlinG might lose another probe or two, but that's going to be it, and it looks like this counterattack is going to be pretty effective. Bring along an observer now from that robotics facility that, well, emerged during that last attack as he pulled back. And he's going to be able to snipe off these creep tumors. He knows exactly what's on top of the ramp. There are a lot of roaches here. They are actually at +1 attack. Meanwhile, the units down bottom are also at +1 attack, but he's going to calmly move back again. So BlinG decided he doesn't want to commit to this confrontation just yet. He still has a lead in workers, 48 to 38, and he's going to see what he can do with this advantage. He's decided it's not quite a game-ending advantage yet, so there's no point doing it for now. He is holding the watchtower. He sees the next Zergling run by, and unfortunately it's not going to be very effective because by the time they get past the army, 4 full health Lings and 1 Ling just about to cark on 3 HP, now 4. Meanwhile, this third base for O'Reilly currently only mining out of 1 geyser. He really needs to drone that up if he wants to try and get back into this game economically. Glial reconstitution as well as pathogen glands coming out for our Zerg player, so we're going to be going for that roach infestor play, but meanwhile +2 has started for BlinG, and Blink is about to finish as well. God, saying BlinG and Blink all cast could be difficult. I hope he doesn't go Blink play the entire series. We're going to have to wait and see. Oh, right. Another observer popping out. He wants to make sure there are no counterattacks while he heads out. He's managing to allow a few Zerglings into his base the last time around, but of course, completely thwarting the efforts at a minimal number of probes killed. We do see BlinG is now also taking his third base, because if you're not going to be attacking your opponent, and you think you're in front of him, you might as well get more ahead. He's not going to have the ability to attack you for quite some time. And if he's going to be playing defensive, then you have every right to do it. He's also got this observer here as well, so he's going to be able to see exactly what the timing is of him moving out. O'Reilly going to attempt to re-expand to his third 2, and BlinG just has a much larger army, guys. We've got a couple Lings popping back into to see if he can scout. I think he's going to go straight for the third, and he's going to see exactly what's going on here. He's going to be able to at least, possibly even take out a single cannon before they complete. But it's pretty obvious that O'Reilly isn't going to be able to stop this expansion from going up, at least not just yet. We do have another beautiful warp-in of Stalkers now, taking out these destructible rocks, assuming that O'Reilly has retaken the base. If we take a look, he hasn't seen it until right now that the base has been retaken. So denying your opponent expansion is always a very, very good way to play. Unfortunately, he hasn't seen this one at all. So very nice ninja expand coming out there from O'Reilly. Will it be enough, though, to get him back into the game? The supplies now are 153 to 126 in our Protoss friends' favor. And the next push is going to be a very, very scary one indeed, especially if these Zealots decide they want to join the party as well. These are going to be pure Stalkers, though, and actually the number of Stalkers here are not a laughing matter at all. There are 29 of them here. We take a look at the unit count. It is 60 to 61 workers in the Protoss favor. I'm not sure what BlinG is doing here, sacking a few Stalkers for no good reason. He had an observer there. He really didn't need to do that, and perhaps he's trying to bait the Lings into some sort of aggression, but I cannot be sure. We do have a War Prison popping out here with 4 sentries, the classic Korean-style sentry job. Are we going to see force fields on either side of the mineral line? No, it looks like it's not. We are instead going to have... Oh, I like this. Targeting down the Evo chamber so he can get up and upgrades, and look at the amount of force fields these sentries have. I mean, the amount of energy should be enough for a crap ton more force fields. The Stalker's now joining the fray, and it looks like this base, in the main, is going to be taken out. The layer tech is going to be taken out. Both evolution chambers should just be taken out before these upgrades complete. And O'Reilly's decided it's now time for a counterattack. The Ling's going to pop on home, and now we see why the Zealots being left at home are actually such a good idea. Roaches and Infestors going to follow up as well, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a base race situation here. The layer has gone down, both evolution chambers have gone down. We take a look at the upgrade situation. It is now +2 attack to +1 attack, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for quite some time. These Zealots making short work of these infested Terrans, but they're really keeping our Protoss friend occupied. Unfortunately, these Infestors now have no more energy, so he's not going to be able to fungal those BlinG Stalkers if and when they do pop back in, and it looks like, unfortunately, due to poor positioning, O'Reilly is going to be able to... not going to be able, rather, to break into BlinG at this side of the map. It looks like, oh no, the Stalkers as well, coming in and killing every single Infestor, electing not to continue with the base race and just to completely dispatch of the army. It looks like this is going to get taken out, and BlinG should just be able to box the rest of his army and head straight on into the Zerg main. This is not looking good for O'Reilly at all, and I would expect a GG from him at some point soon. The supplies are now 143 to 89. So as predicted, we do have this lovely little 1A forward almost. A lot of spine crawlers in the frame. It looks like here is where O'Reilly's going to make his last stand. Some blink micro going on, and it looks like it's going to be too much. O'Reilly, GG's out. And we're now going to head into game number 4 of this Grand Finals. Dignitas.BlinG now 1 game to O'Reilly's 2 in this extended best of 7 series at EGL4.